Y arriba yo, mi papá y la chona.
What's up, my guy?
What's up, dude?
Whole lot of nada. It's been a couple weeks since we've been on here, but it's time for the playoff push. So you already know we couldn't miss another week.
No, yeah, this is crunch time. This is what everybody else is doing in the league, minus Matt and myself, just chilling. Everybody else has to get to work. So,
Yeah. I mean, relatable dynasty wise, just to have a week off and not have to stress about what your guys do or don't do, as long as they don't get hurt. So
yeah,
that's the only
you gotta
thing.
always worry about that.
Yeah, seriously. Well, shit, dude, what are you sipping on?
Man, it's already late, so I'm sipping on an energy drink that I just picked up right now when I went
He said,
to go pick up Karina's medicine.
he said it's
Just
late.
yeah, it's just not like a full blown like Red Bull, just like that Mountain Dew energy drink type stuff.
Hmm,
Something light.
nice. I picked up some you'll shoot your eye out. This Carbach.
Oh yeah, I haven't had that one. I need to try that one. I'm just excited about the Shiner Holiday Cheer.
Oh yeah, that's good too.
Yeah, because we're gonna be drinking tomorrow and drinking Sunday, so I'm like, I'll just chill tonight.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, dude. Well, let's go ahead and dive in. Let me share my screen and get the podcast slides up.
Let me log into Sleeper on here.
All right. So, as usual, we always start off with trades. So this will be the trades over the past 2 weeks. I think I got them in order, but we'll see. So first off, between myself and Cody, we got Mark Andrews and Jerick McKinnon for Mike Evans and Damian Pierce. So obviously this happened like before week 13. So we have a little bit more hindsight now. But what did you think at the time when you saw this go through?
At the time, I thought you overpaid. Now it's almost like a wash. It feels like because Andrews hasn't been what he was, from weeks 1 through what 6, 7. He hasn't been that elite guy. He's still number 2 because the drop off is so much. But at the time it looked lopsided. It looks like Cody robbed you blind, but then now it looks about even. Honestly,
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, Mark Andrews and Mike Evans were more or less equal, in my opinion. And then I started freaking out about Pierce. So I was like, I'll take the PPR back and McKinnon on the Chiefs that can put up the same amount as Pierce, but with less variables. So I felt good about it, obviously. So cool. After that, we got another one that shook up the league. You seem to be primed for trades that shake up the league.
yeah, I just like to keep things moving. It's just getting into the playoff push and Saquon's massive workload he's gotten, and he's never played a full season. This and that, blah blah blah. So I'm like, let me see what I can get. At the time, DK wasn't popping off like he was. He was just like a solid wide receiver 2, 3. So, but the past 2 weeks, he's put up wide receiver 1 numbers.
Right.
So I was kicking myself in the nuts a little bit on that one, but I 2 more trades in the future. I feel like I fixed it.
That's
Like
fair.
my situation. And moving on to the next trade where it's the Adams trade. That should have never happened had Wes decided he wanted to do something the day of versus 10 minutes before the deadline.
Yeah, when I saw this one go through, I was like, okay, Lamb and DK are a wash for me, and then the running backs were just stark differences. But
Oh yeah, I mean that for sure. But Lamb and DK to me, I mean, I would say like at the time it was Lamb being borderline. He was bouncing around the top 5 to top 7 range, whereas DK was still lingering around that top 20. Now he's like top 15, which I mean he's my guy. I should have never doubted him. But at the end of the day, like I said, I was just trying to make a push and trying to shake it up a little bit.
there you go. So up next, we got the one that you were alluding to already, the Adams trade between you and my dad. So Adams, Foreman, London for Patterson, Godwin, Kittle. So for me, I'll take Adams all day. I know you're kind of saying that Adams and Godwin can more or less be on the same level. But that Bucks offense just hasn't been used to
you
be.
know, and I would definitely take Adams 1v1 Adams all day, right? But then you look at the other pieces involved, Kittle mainly,
And
versus
that's kind of like Mark Andrews. Like, what has he really done this year? Like,
it's just one of those things where I lost Dallas Goddard, and I did the waiver wire 1 week with Taysom Hill, and I was like, never again.
yeah, dude,
So
not having a
this
tight end sucks.
this was almost not so much panic trade, but just kind of like trying to fill in 3 different holes with one piece type thing. But again, I wouldn't have never done this I knew that I could get done the next trade, which the next trade was something that I was trying to do for days. This one.
Yeah, this one happened like literally minutes before the trade deadline.
Yeah, and we talked about it. He came in, a few days before the deadline hit. I was already trying to pick his brain, and he was like, "No, I'm not moving anybody." Blah blah blah. And then boom, 10 minutes before. I would have definitely moved Adams over Chase if he wanted. I offered him Adams and Chase for McCaffrey, Taylor, or Walker at one point, and he was just like, "No."
Damn.
And then, some backstory behind this was we went back and forth. It was Chase for sure on my side, and then he pretty much gave me the options of McCaffrey, Taylor, and Walker. And I'm just glad I feel like I took the better of the 3 as of right now. Taylor could be the other, the pinnacle point of all this, but I like McCaffrey right now.
Oh yeah, I'll take McCaffrey over all 3 of those pieces. And I'd rather give up Chase than Devontae Adams, quite frankly.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying. So no harm, no foul. But like I said, this one try to fix, moving Saquon while still having CD, kind of put me right back in my same situation with just different people, almost essentially.
Yeah, but this is elite for elite, so I thought that one was good.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, so the waiver wires, I only grabbed what is this?
This is this past week
morning. Yeah, like I wasn't gonna do Thursday or week 13's waiver wires, and I wasn't gonna do last night's waiver wires. So these are just the main ones from this week. So the one that I like the best, obviously, is James Cook. I dropped him this past week, which of course never should have done that.
Yeah, you and I have had him multiple times throughout the year, and we just kept going back and forth, taking turns.
Which I'm like, he popped off, but it's almost a trap unless he if this next week he comes out and gets 60% of snaps, Singletary's got 30, and then whoever that other guy is, is filling in randomly, then I'd feel better about starting Cook. But they were splitting things 40, 30%,
Yeah.
Like, when are you ever going to be confident to start him? So
because you got to figure Naheem Hines is there. They traded for him for a reason. So he's going to come into play at some point or another. It's just a matter of when.
Yeah, and that Chuba Hubbard trade was looking good when Deontay Foreman, not trade, but claim. That was looking good when Foreman was popping up on the injury report with his foot. And we both know the kind of playoff schedule that the Panthers have coming up. So that one was looking good. I think you're smart for dropping Odell.
And that was before he came out today or last night and even said he's not looking to play regular season ball. He's only looking at playing playoff ball. So at that point, it's see you later, Stinky.
Yeah.
No thanks. I like the pickup of Hilliard just because, Henry hasn't been Henry for the past few weeks, whether that be a lingering injury, a lingering this or that. But Hilliard is a great pass catching option, especially when they're down. They're going to start tossing it. So I like that.
Have many other pass catchers there, and I like
exactly. Yeah, minus Traylon. Yeah.
Yeah, and he's just, I've got him in this league and Dynasty, so I like me some Treylon Burks. But I was and I was pretty surprised that nobody else even put a $0 bid in on him. I didn't think I could put a $0 bid in and get him, but neither here nor
I thought about it. Yeah, I had my picks that I had were Cook, Chuba, Dulcich, and there's one other one. I can't remember who the other one. It might have been DJ.
Yeah, based on the number of bids there. So good claims yet again. Our league is super smart. Everybody's usually ahead of the curve. So I wanted to go ahead this week and post the final rankings, like how we finally finished after a long, hard fought season. So yourself, there is no tie there at the top. So that's, even if you don't end up winning the championship, that's something to hang your hat on, 10-3, that's an amazing season. You ended up with the most points scored out of everybody. So, you didn't encounter much bad luck to drop weeks, and you were just straight up dominating. So props to you. Matt at 9-4, that's great, but you got what's his face? Jordan all the way down there in last, and he had the least points for. So I'm thinking like, yeah, the top spot and the bottom spot are rightfully earned. Like you put out the most points and Jordan scored the least points. So those finishing spots were justified.
Because usually sometimes you get that flopped, like right, like you have that person that scored not as many as like the top 3 or 4, but then there's some up there. Then you got someone with really bad luck scoring big points, but always playing other people scoring bigger points.
That's what I wanted to point out. Like with you and Matt, you scored the most and you're in first. Matt had the least in the entire league scored against him, and he finished in second. So there's a correlation there. And if you check his points for, he should have points for finished fifth. But he got lucky with the least amount of points scored against him, but that's part of fantasy. And of course, the guy that got the most points scored against him, Jacob, is just outside of the playoffs. So that's that shitty, fantasy luck. And of course, this jackass is the one that wants to do away with the game against the league average or the league median. Like he didn't score enough points on the season to really be top 6, but it was probably would have been a lot closer for him, and he's just barely out and just had some bad luck. So it was a hard fought season. I mean, 9th place was 5-8. I mean, our league is an extremely tough, competitive, smart league. So props to everybody except for Jordan.
Yeah, there you go.
Here's what the bracket's going to look like. I didn't set it up the normal way that I did, since Sleeper's given us a brackets this week. So, of course, yourself, you got to buy. And so,
yes, sir.
So both of y'all, congrats on a hard fought season. Y'all got your buys. Proud of you guys. And then you'll have myself going up against my dad to have the honor of playing you next week.
That's what I was wondering. Is it because it doesn't show, like, obviously it doesn't show like the line like going towards me? Is it just the lower seed's going to come to me out of the 2 games, and then the higher seed's going to go to Matt?
I think we stay on the same side of the bracket.
Okay, that's what I was confused about. I started thinking about it. I'm like, well, because how in real playoff standards or settings, sometimes that kind of stuff can like flop around based on seeding. So yeah. I didn't know if that was how this worked.
That is a setting, so I'm just checking real quick in here if I can find it quick.
Because that could very well mean I could either play one of y'all 2 or possibly even Jose. I wouldn't play Preston though.
So,
but just one of y'all 2 or Jose.
Right here in the playoffs. So 2-week championship. Oh no, it is a reseed. Higher seeded teams always play lower seeded teams in every round. So
I would play either one of y'all or Jose.
I'm 6 and my dad is 5, right?
No, Jose's 6. You're 5. Your dad's 4.
Okay, so whoever's the lowest seed remaining, you'll get. So yeah, it will reseed after every round. So we'll see. I think so. If I win, I'm 5, and
if Preston wins, that means it's you and me.
Okay, but if Jose wins,
it's me and Jose. Yep.
Yeah, and then me and Matt, or vice versa.
If Jose wins, it doesn't matter who comes out of y'all's end. I get Jose no matter what.
True.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, we got.
I'd rather play. I don't know who I'd rather play out of that one. I could say I probably want to play. I don't know. I'm tired of playing your dad. He has my number every now and then, so I'd rather play you, but not just because of like. I feel like your team is less. I just feel like your dad has my number, and I always just had bad luck against your dad somehow.
Out of the teams that made the playoffs, I'm the worst team, and I don't I'm not shy about saying that. Like, I'm just happy to be here, happy to be at the dance.
Hey, that's it.
This is anything can happen at this point. I got off to a good start this week with Devontae Adams having his third worst game of the year by only putting up 10 points. So
Yeah, he didn't get a single target in that second half.
but what's his face? Allen and Henry and Gabe Davis can all pop off. So anyways, and of course, with the good comes the bad. So the absolute fucking losers of the entire league, regardless of their records, just making poor choices right out the gate. Jacob, I just want to remind you of week 1 when you sat Devin Duvernay, that one mistake. You had him in your lineup the entire time, but that one mistake literally got you out of the playoffs. So that's brutal, man. That's brutal.
You could pinpoint. I mean, minus Jordan, but the other three guys, you could pinpoint everything where the season turned for them.
I just gotta let Jacob know.
Whether it was a trade, honestly, probably if Jordan would have held on to Saquon and Austin Eckler, he might be okay.
And Amari Cooper.
Yeah, I'm just talking about the trades he made. Week 2, 3, 4, somewhere around that range.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I think some people need to learn to trade a little sooner.
I.e., Wes.
Wes and Jordan.
Yeah.
Need to trade a little sooner. Others need to chill out a little bit more. But like for me, for example, my trades saved my season. Like we were talking about it earlier this week, where like I don't have anybody on my roster that I did when I drafted except for Kyler Murray, Christian Kirk.
Yep, I got only 3 guys as well.
So I mean, sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you're a little late, sometimes you're too soon. Like Wes.
Yeah, well, that's kind of like what that's always kind of like what I've told y'all, and that goes with Dynasty. I shouldn't do it as much in Dynasty as I do in redraft, but it's like every week I'm playing my matchup. So if I don't like this, then I'm going to go make a move to better my team for the week. Like there's like set people I really don't want to move, like Jalen Hurts, Dallas Goedert, Justin Jefferson, Chase the whole season, right? Stuff like that. Other than that, everybody's, up for grabs in the sense of if it makes me better and secures me the dub, I feel like for the week of, and then we'll redo it again come Tuesday next week,
Yep. I just think of Wes, man, like his team is stacked. And if he would have figured out a way to get into the playoffs, I would have not wanted to face Wes's team.
Oh no, I'm glad you beat him. I love Wes to death, but I did not want to have to face him in the playoffs. I'm not really maybe now with Kenneth Walker a little banged up and this and that, but I'm not knowing that was going to happen. Then obviously not.
Yeah. So I mean, essentially,
I love his lineup this week. I'll play that all week.
All these guys are just shit. That's just what you get for being in the shit bowl. But one of them will eventually have the honor to rock the sash, the I suck at fantasy football sash, while being up on front of, I don't know, 50 people rocking some karaoke that one of us in the winner's bracket will get to choose for them. So just the overall sentiment on their season as a whole.
Let me ask you this. Which one of the 4, what's your ranking of who you want to see sing out of the 4 from first to last?
So first person that I want to see sing is Wes, because that means he'll come into town. And that'll just be another chance to hang out with Wes. So
secure.
Love you, Wes, but I'd love to have you in town too to come and hang out. After that, I'd like to see probably Jacob, just because I think he'd be the most embarrassed. Then Cody, he'll be the most embarrassed after that. Him and Jacob are kind of a toss-up. And I think Jordan could give a shit. After the season that he's had, he's just kind of like expects to have to sing. And I think he would enjoy a night out, of the house, essentially.
He'll do whatever. He'll sing just to get out.
Yeah, I don't think Jordan would have an issue, honestly. But Wes, just to get his ass to come into town. Jacob and Cody are a toss-up because I think they'd be equally as embarrassed to have to get up there 3 different times and sing, songs the champion chooses. And then I think Jordan would have a genuinely good time with it. What about you?
Yeah, I think I want to see Wes as my number 1 just because I think it'd be funny, because it always goes back, and I always think about this, is like when we first met Wes, He's like, I'm in 12 leagues. I do this shit on lock, blah, 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 blah. Like we haven't seen it yet,
He got last
and
place once already, then I got last place, and
yeah, and then he's right there tinkering again, So I just want to see him, finish it off. And like you said, it makes him come into town, so that's all be fun. Or maybe we go to Arizona. I wouldn't be opposed to a weekend with out there.
That's
And my next one I'd probably want to see is probably Jacob, probably the same order as you, Jacob and Cody and Jordan. Jacob and I talk about this every day. Jacob's like, I really don't want to sing. I think it'd be funny if I saw him sing. I know the guys at work would get a kick out of it as well. Cody, if Cody sings, I'll go up there and sing with him. He'll need some backup for sure, probably. So mark it right here. If Cody's singing, I'm singing a song with him.
all right.
But yeah, and then after that, Jordan. Yeah, I mean, he needs any reason to get out of the house. So we may have to even do a karaoke Zoom call with him if she don't let him out. So who knows?
Absolutely not. This man is getting up in front of people and looking like a fucking jackass.
I'm all for it.
All right, so let's get into the actual matchups. So like you said earlier, we got a bye this week between you and Matt. So we only have 4 matchups instead of 5. So right out the gate, Kyler Murray versus Josh Allen. I think we're both taking Josh Allen without thinking.
Yeah, I'm just not a Kyler Murray fan.
And I'm back and forth between if it's going to be Kyler or Trevor Lawrence. You have any
if T-Law plays, I'm playing T-Law. If obviously if he doesn't, then yeah, I'd go Murray. But if Trevor Lawrence is playing, I know he's going through that issue right now with his leg. I can't remember if it's his ankle, foot, or knee. I saw it happen though on Red Zone when it happened. It did not look good, but he came back and played
and threw a touchdown.
Now, whether that was right or wrong or the best idea or not, but he did it because he's a dog, But yeah, if T-Law's playing, I'm taking T-Law. If not, then obviously Murray. But regardless of who's on your end, I'm still taking Josh Allen.
Yeah, for sure. The running backs aren't even a question either, in my opinion. When you got Derrick Henry and Deontay Foreman versus Jeff Wilson and either Najee or Rachaad White if Leonard Fournette is out, or I'm kind of flirting with the idea of Bam Knight, but Michael Carter's back. So I'm leaning Najee because the volume will be there. But if Leonard Fournette doesn't play, I know Rachaad White will get dump offs, and that alone will give him a higher ceiling than Najee.
Yeah, but also think about it. Lenny played this past week, and
he got downgraded on Thursday, though. I think he was a full participant in practice on Friday or Wednesday, downgraded to limited with a foot injury on Thursday, and I think he was limited again today or didn't practice today or something like that.
Yeah, it just goes to show that right now you could probably play Rachaad White in a pinch or even in a flex, regardless if Lenny's in or out.
Right. Let me see.
Wide receivers, though, I mean, we already know how Adams did, but regardless if the unknown of Adams, I'd still probably take your side, Tyreek Hill and Christian Kirk. I like the matchup Kirk has this week, and you can never bet against Tyreek Hill. And I put Tyreek right above Adams in my my rankings, just solely based off of who's tossing the ball to him,
right?
The yak. There's a lot that goes to it. Now he doesn't have the touchdowns like Adams has, but you can always count on Tyreek to pretty much have a big day almost every week.
Yeah, dude, obviously, honestly, before Adams played, we know what he did, but I'm looking at this and I'm seeing Garrett Wilson ball the fuck out with Mike White, and I'm thinking I'm going to get crushed at wide receiver as well, 10 catches is not out of the range of possibilities for Garrett Wilson. And I'm thinking Devontae Adams has been scoring 25-plus points a week for I don't even know how long.
I think his average over the past 6 weeks or 4 weeks or 5 weeks or something like that was like 30 points going into last night.
Yeah. So I'm thinking I'm getting crushed at wide receiver. So if we were doing this on Wednesday and not Friday, I would have given wide receivers to my dad. Obviously, we have a little bit more information now. So with that, I would take myself now. But I mean, I don't know. Kind of a toss up there, I guess, with recording when we're recording.
Yeah. And then
Tight
on
end,
tight end, I'm taking Andrews over Njoku.
you got to.
Yeah.
The flex, I'm gonna take myself there. Marquise Brown and Devonta Smith versus Mostert and Gabe Davis.
Yeah, I love Devontae Smith right now. I absolutely love him, especially with Dallas being out. He's taken over all those targets that Dallas has got him. Um, so as long as Dallas is out, you leave Smith in your lineup.
Yeah, I totally agree. And with Marquise Brown, like he's got a quote unquote bad matchup, but the Patriots are gonna take away D Hop. And with Marquise Brown getting more targets than D Hop, his first week back from injury already, like I think we have another good PPR day. So he
Yeah, and
was
then you have that stack there too. So
well, see, I would have the stack with Murray and I would have the stack with T Law because I got Kirk.
yeah,
So that's like not a difference maker enough for me either, to say, oh, well, one of them gives me the stack and one of them doesn't.
yep.
But I mean, Mostert was the lead back last week. Chargers are a bad run defense, so we'll see. Gabe Davis can pop off for 100 yards and 2 touchdowns any week. It's just,
Or he could give you a big old goose egg too. So
yeah. So I'm kind of nervous about Gabe Davis, to be honest, because I think Sauce locks up, or not locks up, but I think Sauce follows Diggs, and it's gonna leave Gabe Davis open more often than I'd like. So
yeah, I think your dad. You said your dad's coming with you on Sunday, huh?
yeah.
Nice. Yeah, I was looking at it. Most of y'all's games are on that noon slate, so that'll be fun.
Mm-hmm. So if you had to pick, I mean, I guess knowing what you know now, so you can make an educated decision.
Uh, even before the Adam stuff, I still was gonna call this if we had to pick an upset of the week. On our side of the bracket, like on the winners bracket, it was gonna be this one. Um, just because I like your team, like Preston and I was saying going into the playoffs. I know you think whatever you want to think of it, but Preston and I like it, and I think you'll pull an upset here. I don't care for Foreman. I think Chuba has more of a role now than people think and see. Garrett Wilson is, dependent on Mike White. But we already saw what Adams did. Njoku, had he not had that touchdown last week, he would have put up a stinker. Listen to that. And we don't know what Watson's going to be still. And then Raheem Moser and Jeff Wilson, you don't know. And then Gabe Davis, I'm just not a fan of anymore. So I take you all week on that one. This was my upset of the week going into the week.
All right. Well, I'm going to take myself as well. I'm done hedging against myself. So all in.
Gotta be confident, baby.
Taking the win, moving on to the next round. All right. So next matchup would be Preston versus Jose, which I'm sure this is the last person Preston wanted to play in round one.
Back to back.
The perennial round one exit. I don't really have a lot of room to talk because I don't ever make it to round one. But Preston's got some tough sledding. Even with Josh Jacobs putting up almost 20 points, he's still only, this matchup is 50-50, in sleeper right now. So he's got to be thankful that Josh Jacobs did what he did. But riding with your playoff hopes and putting it on the back of Mike White, that's
the only thing. Had Preston had it, probably anybody else in there that we were talking about earlier, like Mac Jones or something, I'd probably take Preston easily. Obviously, I'm rooting for my guy. It's his birthday today. Shout out Money P. But the Mike White thing, I think, is either what's going to make him or break him this week.
Yeah, because we've been saying it for weeks, but his team is very well rounded. So at the quarterback position, I think we're both taking Joe Burrow over Mike White.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Running backs, I'd take Preston over Jose just because of the consistency of Stevenson. Even though I know Elliott's doing great right now, I still like Jacobs and Stevenson over Saquon and Elliott, I think
that's pretty close. And if Saquon doesn't play, just consider he puts Pollard up there, and Pollard is a top 10 running back right now. And against Houston, you literally can't ask for anything better. So
that's what I thought too with Saquon. And Saquon had, I think, one of his lowest weeks was when he played Houston. So they locked him up quick. So they're either going to lock up Zeke or they're going to lock up Tony, but one of the two.
Yeah, good point. Shoot. at this point in time, the way it's set up, I'll take Preston as well there.
Yeah.
Jacobs and Stevenson. The wide receivers, I'm gonna go Jose.
Yeah, I was gonna say Preston too, but just I think I'll go Jose on this one, just solely for the fact of Stephon Diggs, you know.
Yeah, and I mean he could have a mediocre outing against Sauce, so you're counting on DK to ball out against Carolina, but the Seattle Seahawks don't have any running backs that are healthy right now.
They're
So
gonna let Geno cook.
dude, seriously, I think he throws for like over 300 yards. I mean, I think DK and Locke could get a touchdown this game. I think it's a heavy passing script. So again, Preston's got good options. You can't, turn your nose up at Waddle or AJ Brown, but Waddle's banged up. AJ Brown is boom or bust, quite frankly, at this point. So I'm gonna go Jose there. The Titans, I don't think it's as close. They both got good matchups, but Hawkinson with the revenge game.
Yeah, but I was just about to say revenge game, and you play anytime you're playing Detroit, you play whoever you have on that roster against Detroit.
Yeah, and that game has potential to be a shootout. So you're talking Jefferson having a big game, Hawkinson probably scoring a touchdown.
Yeah, I'm wasting a big Jefferson game.
Yeah, possibly. So Jose gets the win at tight end. And in the flex, I'm taking Preston.
For sure.
His team wins out in the flex 9 times out of 10 because that depth really shows there. Hopkins and Cook. I mean, I think Hopkins gets locked down by that Bill Belichick defense, but he's still D-Hop. And then,
I was about to say that's what people were worried about with JJ was going to get locked down by New England, and he cooked them.
Did he?
So yeah, he cooked them. I think that was whenever he had that. Was that the game where he had that grab of the year or whatever?
No,
best grab?
Buffalo, I believe.
Yeah, that was the Buffalo game. Yeah, but regardless, it was on Thanksgiving Day. I think JJ put up like 20 something on him.
That's JJ.
Yeah, I know D-Hop's not a young spring chicken no more, but I'm still not counting him out.
So we're giving this one to Preston, yeah?
Yeah, the whole game, yeah.
So
riding with my dog.
All right, yeah, I'm gonna ride with Preston too. That he gets the monkey off his back and beats Jose, and Preston's moving on to the next round.
Yep.
Then we got the stinkers, Wes and Cody. Man, I feel so bad for Cody. Cody was 4-0, talking all the shit, and rightfully so. And I remember telling him, hey,
on top of the world.
Say, hey, Cody, make sure you keep that same energy when you start losing. He said, oh, don't you worry. I will. Oh, I will. That man has been radio silent. I love that man, but that pit bull. He had a good team. I don't know what happened, man. I don't know what happened.
I really don't. I don't know where it went wrong or the luck or whatever it was. Just looking at this one at a glance, like just real quick before we get into breaking it down, I already give it to Cody 100%. Solely off the fact of who Wes is running out at running back. But if Wes pulls out a dub out of this one, I mean, shit. Yeah, because Cody's already got a stinker at a tight end. So
yeah. Oh, dang, he does. Dang. Yep, I put that one in there today because Wes was able to finally get a running back off waivers. So Wes's running backs total a projection of like 5 or 6 points. That's hilarious. But I mean, I've had no real help at running back all season and just good wide receivers. So, I mean, you look at the quarterbacks, they're both going to be in shootouts. I'm glad Cody played Cousins over Derek Carr because that would have sucked even more.
Yeah, I'm going to take Cousins on that one just because Justin Turdbert hasn't done what he's supposed to be doing. So I'll take the shootout with Detroit.
Yeah, I'm going to take Herbert. I think that game has a higher shootout potential against Miami. But they should both get 25 plus points from their quarterbacks, I think. Running backs, no question.
Yeah.
Cody takes that one easy. Wide receivers, I think Wes takes that one pretty easily.
Yeah, that one's pretty easy. Yeah, you got Sun God. Now, if Evans was Evans, then it'd be a different story, but Sun God.
He might be able to turn it back on him. He's had a bad month. I mean, We'll see. Mike
Yeah.
Evans has never had less than 1,000 yards receiving. I don't know if he's already there or not, but
I don't think he's there yet.
he'll get there. So I mean, history says so. We'll just see when that happens. But I think Wes has got this with Sun God by himself. The tight end, obviously, if Schultz catches one pass for -9 yards, he'll win there. So easy to take Wes at the tight end. And then same thing with the flex, honestly. Jamar Chase and Tyler Lockett, 2 top 10 wide receivers. Yeah.
Yeah. I still I don't know. This is gonna be a fun one to watch through the weekend. I like looking at the times that people play just because I like to see how long they're gonna be sweating. If it's gonna be all day, they'll be done by noon, 3, midnight, or Sunday night or Monday night. Looks like Cody will be done by everybody but Myers, yeah.
Yeah. And
And
then Wes
then
got a primetime Sunday.
yeah, and then he has a bunch of a good mix of 12 and 3. So Wes will be done Sunday. So
Yeah, if Wes is up by 20 come Monday night, I'd say he's got it locked up.
yeah, come on, Cody.
But either way, they suck. Teams are
Yep.
in the shit bowl. All right, and then the last shit bowl matchup: Jordan versus Jacobo Rodriguez. I guess he was trying to get a trade done with Jose after the trade deadline, but my dude stays zonked, so maybe he didn't know that the trade deadline passed.
Who was trying to get a trade done? Wes or
No, Jacob, I'm just messing around because he's calling himself Jacobo Rodriguez, and you're the Rodriguez that's able to get things done with the Rodriguez. So,
yeah.
I really don't think that there's any competition here. I don't know why Jacob is playing Deshaun Watson. Like, I'd play anybody other than Deshaun Watson at this point. Like, after what he did in his first game out, I need to see it before I'm starting him.
Yeah.
We all know what he can do, but that doesn't mean I'm playing him right now. So I'm taking Daniel Jones over Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, I think this is a good matchup for both of them. In the sense of I wouldn't want to be Daniel Jones going up against Philly, and I wouldn't want to be Deshaun Watson going up against Cincinnati right now. Jacob and I were talking about it today, like how Cincinnati, or not today, maybe yesterday, how Cincinnati is starting to click on all cylinders, defense and offense. So I'll probably have to ride with Daniel Jones.
Yeah, running backs, I don't think it's close either. Jacob's got that too. Connor was $31 and Miles Sanders. Yeah, those running backs versus non-running backs on a team that passes more than anybody in the NFL. Yeah, Jacob can take that one. Wide receivers, I've always kind of leaned Jordan's way when it's come down to wide receivers this year. T. Higgins and Debo, man. I mean, Debo's really had a fall from grace this year.
Especially now that CMC's is over there, that takes away his rushing opportunities. And he still had that one a few weeks ago, but where he busted it for like 30 yards or 20 yards to the house. But you don't see those kind of game making plays every week anymore, like we did last year. So I'd probably give it to Jordan too, even though Higgins, I keep seeing Higgins' name pop up on the injury report. Even though he doesn't have a questionable thing next to him, but I keep seeing stuff about him all week. But yeah, I'd probably lean Jordan on that one.
Yeah, me too. Jordan, that's the only thing you're ever good at is that wide receiver spot. Tight end is usually the only thing Jacob's ever good at with Travis Kelce. I don't think you can ever pick anybody over Travis Kelce.
No, so that's a lock. And then flex matchups, I like Jacob.
Yeah.
I love Isaiah Pacheco right now. And I think Murray's a great play against Kansas City, who always just has a history of not being able to stop the run.
Yeah. Pacheco this week, I mean, man, we'll see. I can see him rushing for like 50 yards. He would have to score, 2 touchdowns because they're down there in the red zone or something like that. So I think he could end up with 17 points. He could end up with 6. Just kind of depends on his touchdowns because he doesn't really catch passes. Yeah. But I think I'll give the flex to Jacob too. So Jacob, you're out of the shit bowl. You win this week, and then Jordan's terrible season continues.
Yeah, Jacob's coming over Sunday too, so that'll be fun to watch it with him.
Fantastic. But again, these teams are shit. So
There you go.
living in the shitbowl. Some power rankings for round 1 of the playoffs. Jose reigning in at the top, then Preston, yourself, Matt, myself. It's almost the exact rankings of like how we finished. Like my dad was 6th, I was 5th. I know Matt was 2nd.
No, Jose was 6th. Your dad was 4th. You were 5th. Yeah.
Okay, my bad. I guess I just knew where I finished.
Yeah.
And then at the bottom, kind of just is what it is.
I think it's funny how I think Preston said it. It was like it's the family against Wes.
That was, Preston doesn't have a lot of good one-liners, but that was a good one.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. They all should just be conspiring with each other on how to secure a win against Wes.
They might. But I mean, no real surprises there. Always fun to see Jordan at the bottom.
For sure.
I wish he watched these, man. We just shit on him all season long.
Who knows? Maybe he does.
Oh man, so I updated my picks record on the season, damn near 50-50, and I'm pretty happy with that. Most weeks I get 3 right, 2 wrong. Had a couple off weeks here and there. I've gone 4-1 occasionally, but I think that's a pretty savvy record there. 30.
Yeah, no, it's nice. It's solid. Nice average. Nice, not terrible, not amazing, but no, it's a nice pick 'em.
Yeah, for sure. So good luck to you, sir, with your bye week.
I will be watching everybody sweat.
Yeah. I mean, you're gonna be sweating too that your players stay healthy.
Yeah, no, that too.
You're playing against yourself, essentially.
That's true. And I also got to I'll be watching all y'all. Almost everybody's going to be at my house. So I'll be watching and see who I have to play.
Cool.
So,
all right, man. Well, cheers.
Cheers.
Hopefully I'm joining you next round.
Yep. We'll see you there.
Peace, my guy.
Adios, Mafia.